Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so thrilled you're tuning in today. Look, if you love breaking down complex geopolitical shifts and super intense, high stakes covert operations, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're diving into a phenomenal piece of source material that perfectly captures a world literally balancing on a knife's edge. We are talking about a universe where loyalty is incredibly fragile, power is absolute, and just one single night of bloodshed, yeah, it can completely rewrite the global balance of power. So let's jump straight into this tense world of ninja politics and unbelievable betrayals. Okay, we've got to start with this absolutely chilling declaration. I will make the world feel pain, and that will naturally resolve everything. These words come from Diva Path Pain, this figure of terrifying authority who acts as the mouthpiece for a hidden leader named Nagato. It's delivered with this inhuman, almost godlike indifference. And what's really fascinating here is that before we even touch the broader global landscape, this quote just rockets the stakes sky high. It tells us right out of the gate that we've got factions operating in the shadows with this fanatic, unshakable certainty that their specific brand of destructive peace is the only way forward. Section 1. The bombshell and the global fallout. So how exactly does this shadow world stuff smash into global politics? Let's walk through the timeline because the rapid-fire spread of this news is wild. It's easily the most paradigm-shifting bombshell to ever hit the great nations. First, this mysterious phenomenon called the sky canopy just appears out of nowhere, hanging an unsettling question mark over the entire world. But that is instantly eclipsed by an explosive rumor. The legendary Uchiha clan annihilated overnight. Then spies from all over going to extreme lengths confirm the impossible. The Uchiha compound in Konoha is a literal dead zone. Finally, it becomes undeniable, world-shaking fact when the third Hokage officially slaps an S-rank warrant on the perpetrator. You can just imagine the initial reaction, right? Are you kidding? The Uchiha, one of Konoha's strongest clans? The sheer disbelief was universal. The source material makes it clear that literally no one wanted to believe it at first. People assumed it was a sick joke, or maybe a deliberate smokescreen tossed out by Konoha. I mean, the idea that a famous genius like Uchiha Itachi could wipe out his own incredibly powerful bloodline in a single night, it was simply way too outlandish for the public to even process. But you know, the ninja world is a cruel, unforgiving place. Once that initial shock finally wore off, the sentiment flipped. Drastically. Those idiots in Konoha cut off their sharpest blade. Suddenly, disbelief turns into this malicious, gleeful joy. Rival nations realized that one of their biggest nightmares on the battlefield, the power of the Uchiha Sharingan, was just gone, wiped out by internal strife. Absolutely no one sympathized with Konoha, because in this ruthless environment, a competitor's total tragedy, that's your greatest strategic advantage. This contrast perfectly nails the geopolitical fallout. On one side, you have Konoha's sheer desperation. They've suffered a massive loss of high-end combat power, which shoves the village right into the eye of a storm filled with unresolved internal troubles. But looking outward, we see the rival nation's joy. High-ranking officials all across the five great nations are secretly throwing a party. They're eagerly recalculating Konoha's threat level and sniffing around for opportunistic benefits they can seize. It is a stark, totally cold contrast between a village's internal devastation and sheer, calculated geopolitical greed. Section 2. Inside the Akatsuki lair, inside the shadows. While the world up above is completely losing its mind, we're going to shift gears and head down into a quiet, deadly, claustrophobic underground cave in the Land of Rain. Talk about a toxic work environment. Picture this roster of absolute monsters currently hanging out in the dark. We've got Kakuzu, completely indifferent to everything except money. Sasori, totally hidden inside his puppet shell, just letting out this hoarse, creepy laugh. Zetsu, a bizarre guy literally emerging from the ground, Orochimaru giving off this intensely predatory curiosity, and Pain, cold, completely emotionless. The sheer suffocating concentration of lethal power waiting in these shadows is off the charts. But the real focal point in this room is entirely visual. Specifically, it's Pain's eyes, the Rinnegan. These eyes harbor this icy, killing intent and a superior indifference that legitimately acts like a god's gaze. Pain has gathered this nightmare squad because they're expecting a new recruit. And he's made it crystal clear. If this new guy has any ill intentions, Pain will make him understand that a god's majesty cannot be messed with. The tension in the air is so thick, you could cut it with a kunai. And then, the heavy silence of the cavern shatters. A figure walks in. Short, black hair, and a deep scratch physically gouged into his Konoha headband. It's Uchiha Itachi. That deep scratch on the metal plate is the ultimate, undeniable physical proof of his defection. The guy who literally just terrified the entire globe has quietly strolled right into this underground lair. Section 3. Predatory Gaze, Orochimaru's Desire. So Itachi's in the room, and the source material gives us this incredible up-close look at the micro-interactions happening right now. First, let's look through Itachi's perspective. The defining feature here is his three-tomo Sharingan, these profound crimson eyes, slowly rotating, carrying a coldness and stillness that makes you forget how young he actually is. But here's the massive takeaway. That calm exterior, it's a total mask. Internally, Itachi's getting hit with waves of realization. He can feel the extremely dangerous chakra fluctuations coming off everyone in that room. He is perfectly stone still on the outside, but intensely analytical on the inside. Now, contrast that absolute stillness with Orochimaru's golden vertical pupils. The second Orochimaru recognizes Itachi, his snake-like eyes suddenly constrict. I mean, he knows about the massacre, he knows about the defection, but actually seeing this perfect genius right in front of him sparks this almost greedy, totally uncontrollable desire. Orochimaru's reaction is entirely predatory. You can practically feel the deadly tension when he speaks. These eyes, this perfect bloodline limit, simply marvelous. Orochimaru murmurs this in a low voice, actually licking his lips, admiring Itachi like he's some peerless, priceless treasure. It cements this incredibly claustrophobic feeling. Itachi hasn't just joined a rogue organization, he has literally walked into a den of vipers. Which brings us to the crucial point. Itachi, standing right in the middle of this predatory greed and godlike indifference, is internally analyzing everything. With such a ridiculous gathering of high-level rogue ninjas, what exactly is the Akatsuki's endgame? And more importantly for Itachi, how massive of a threat do they pose to his former home, Konoha? It really forces us, the audience, to ponder the terrifying potential of this dark alliance. Section 4. The Sky Canopy Awakens, a sudden disturbance. But right before Itachi can even get a formal introduction, the source material throws an absolute curveball. Just as Pain opens his mouth to speak, he stops dead. His Rinnegan suddenly shoots upwards toward the cave ceiling. It's as if his gaze is literally burning through the thick rock layers. A strange, immense fluctuation is dropping straight down from the heavens, and every single monster in that cave senses it at the exact same time. The way this builds into rapid action is incredible. The synchronized movement of these elite killers is just off the charts. First, without a second of hesitation, Pain blurs into an afterimage. Second, Kakuzu and Sasori call out the massive disturbance. Third, all the members instantly trigger their bizarre abilities to vanish and rush outside. And finally, even Itachi, brand new and completely in the dark about what's going on, instinctively feels that huge atmospheric shift and flickers right after them. They move as one unified force towards this unknown threat overhead. And when they burst out into the light, they are hit with this awe-inspiring sight. That massive sky canopy, the one that had been hanging totally silent over the ninja world for days, causing all that geopolitical panic we talked about earlier, it's waking up. It starts emitting this soft, undeniable light, and these massive, silent images begin to slowly flow across the sky for the entire world to see. It's such a massive atmospheric shift from that dark, suffocating cave we were just sitting in. Which leaves us hanging on this final, totally provocative thought. The world is already fractured, right? Konoha is reeling from losing its best asset, rival nations are practically foaming at the mouth for war, and the deadliest criminals on Earth are grouping up in the shadows. So as these silent images begin to broadcast across the globe, what truth will the sky canopy reveal next? And how is it going to further shatter the fragile balance of this ninja world? It's a brilliant cliffhanger. I really hope you enjoyed this explainer. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and I'll see you all next time.